So you guys are so lucky to be here. No. I've been doing marketing for, as Brennan said, 15 years. And I'm going to talk to you about some marketing hacks that I've learned from personal experience of working for startups and high growth companies. And these aren't going to be like the hacks you see online, like how to increase email opens or double your followers and boost conversions or any shit like that. There's lots of articles already out there that don't work. I'm going to talk about some actual real life experiences. And some of you may not agree with the ideas, and some of you might be offended by the ideas. But what I'm hoping is that at least they'll make you think that sometimes doing the popular thing isn't necessarily always the best thing. So that's actually a good segue into my first hack, which is fuck the cool kids. As marketers, we're always so concerned about, doing what's cool, what's new, keeping up with the competition and always focusing what they're doing. And I mean, that's human nature, right? Instinctually, we're wired to always want to outcompete our peers. It's human nature. But it doesn't always translate well to business. And everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Mike Tyson. I love this quote because it works on so many levels. In business, you're always trying to plan, what's the competitors doing, how we can be better, what's the newest thing, right? And what's most important is what's best for your customers is the thing to focus on. And that's what I've learned, is if you're too busy always looking sideways, you're not spending enough time looking forward. So I've always been a big advocate of ignoring your competition and just you do you, to use a cheesy buzz phrase. Because that way, you'll focus on your customers and you'll do what's right for them rather than always worrying what your competitor is doing or what the next cool thing is. Also, new is not always better. And I'm a digital marketing guy, right? So this is a bit counterintuitive for me to say, because I'm always, grasping on to what's new. But as I've learned over the years, and I've been in the digital space for 15 years, is not everything that glitters is gold. There's a lot of duds out there. There's a lot of bad ideas. Quit worrying what the next Facebook is. It's Facebook. Yeah, there's things that are coming up, but if you're so worried about using Snapchat, the only people you're talking to are 15 to 20-year-olds, and good luck with that. New is not always better. Focus on what works. Find out what your customers are responding to, where they are, and do more of that. That will work better than always wondering what's new, because marketers always want to grasp onto what's new before the rest of society does, if ever. Number 2, drop the dead weight. Drop all those things that aren't working that you're doing just because you always have. Often as marketers and salespeople, we hold the hand that holds us down. We're so used to doing things a certain way that we refuse to kind of see the light as to what maybe works the best or to let go of things that are no longer useful. So stop what doesn't work or is legacy. I have a great story from a client, Flamin Group of Companies. Very traditional company, been around since the early 1900s. Their VP of marketing, Steve Whittington, has this great story where they were doing a lot of traditional advertising just because they always have, and they have a lot of rural customers, a lot of agriculture customers. And they've made this huge digital shift, and they actually wanted to cut out all print advertising in magazines. And their dealership managers were like, whoa, you can't do that. You can't do that. We need those print ads. And he's like, oh, okay. But he did it anyway. He cut out the ads, and then a few months later, he goes back and asks these dealers, so how are those ads working? Are they driving a lot of customers? And they'd be like, oh, yeah, lots of customers. Well, he says, that's impossible, because I haven't been doing them. And so what he had been doing, though, was shifting more to the digital space, because it's measurable. And it was working way better than traditional. And yeah, I'm a digital guy, so this is a bit self-serving, and most of you here are from Vendasta, so I'm preaching to the choir. But it's like, for those of you who are not from Vendasta and are here just to watch and participate, there's never been a better communication medium than the internet. And it's never been easier to use online advertising. With Google, you can do a search campaign, a display campaign, a video campaign, all within one dashboard. On Facebook, I've never met a media budget I couldn't spend. People go bonkers for that shit. So Facebook works, Google works. Remarketing, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, remarketing is when you place a cookie in a person's browser and ads follow them around. It's annoying as shit, but it works. Because people end up clicking on it, they're like, this has gotta be fate. Number 3, embrace lying. Now, this might be my most controversial hack. So let me just lighten it up a bit with the Dilbert cartoon. Boss says, we can't compete on price. We also can't compete on quality, features, or service. That leaves fraud, which I'd like you to call marketing. Right? That's what a lot of people think about marketing, is just fraud and lies. And you know what? Let's be honest with ourselves. It kind of is. You know, we're kind of putting pig on a lipstick. Lipstick on a pig. Pig on a lipstick would be a lot more difficult. But what I'm saying here is that, let's be honest with ourselves. We as marketers actually have an opportunity to embrace lying, because we all know when people buy things, it only gives you a little bump in happiness. That happiness doesn't last. Science has proven buying things doesn't give long-term happiness. But what people do love doing is buying. They don't like being sold, but they love buying. And as marketers, we're always striving for this. I'll come to you like an affliction, but leave you like an addiction. Henry Rollins. And we want people to be excited about our stuff, and we have that ability as marketers, so embrace it. Give people that happiness, that excitement in between them becoming aware of your product, buying it, and then being disappointed eventually. We can own that space in between where we can actually really embrace, hey, we're trying to get people excited and be happy about what they're gonna buy. So I say embrace it, own it. Know that you can make people happy or excited. Is this working? So, relish the ability to create desire and excitement because they are fleeting. And finally, from a sales perspective, post-sales follow-up is critical in helping the customer's journey and their actual satisfaction. The post-sales follow-up is just as crucial as the pre-sales follow-up. Because satisfaction is fleeting, a person gets something might not work, you need to really focus on providing great support. So it's very important from a sales process perspective as well as marketing. All right, next hack. Say less, do more. Marketers are notorious for talking a lot and saying a lot and wondering why the font's wrong or the color's off, and less focused on actually getting stuff done, doing more. I've done sales as well as marketing, and I can tell you one of the best things any marketing professional can do is spend some time in sales or with salespeople, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. Never confuse motion with action. Busy work, getting a new brochure, getting a new flyer, getting swag made, that's actually not getting you sales. So it's about concentrating on what is actually moving the needle. That's what marketers need to focus themselves with. One example I have is I was working for a company, saw most of our customers were in the US. 85% of them were, probably much like Vendasta. And we would spend a lot of money going to trade shows, going on road shows, visiting customers across the US, and it was expensive. So what we ended up deciding to do is we looked at the customer base and focused on the 20% of customers that were bringing us our 80% of revenues. That's the case in many companies. We said, let's bring them to us. And so we would fly them in to Saskatoon, which was kind of a novelty because these are Americans. Saskatoon could have been Slovakia. They had no idea between the difference. And we would have their captive attention for like 2 days, rather than going to visit them for a meeting for an hour. We would bring them in. And every time we did it, we increased the value of those customers by bringing them to us and showing them the good time and building that relationship. Replace yell and sell with show and tell. It's so easy to create an advertisement or another ad or another promotion or go to another trade show. It's way more difficult to actually educate your customers, deliver valuable content, deliver webinars, deliver training. I've never spent a dime on advertising, my own business. All I ever do is speaking and training. I usually get paid to market myself. Not this time, but I usually do. I usually do. It's because I try to deliver value and education to my customers, which is difficult and time-consuming, but it has way more long-term value. Oh yeah, one last thing. Who here is familiar with the Saskatchewan Professional Marketing Association? All right, a number of you, right on. Well, like I said, marketing should spend time in sales. If you're a software developer for a marketing software company, you might want to learn something about marketing. It's a cool association, 300 members, monthly events, great peeps. It's my favorite association in the world because I'm a co-founder. And those are my marketing hacks based on my experiences because I started with nothing and I still have most of it left. Thank you.